In a perfect world where life seems like a serene dream, there is no sickness or suffering. But behind this illusion lies a corporation whose secret operations in banned medicine put their entire destiny into question. The movie is The Island. A young man named Lincoln 6 Echo wakes up in a room that not only detects rapid eye movement sleep disruptions caused by nightmares, but also automatically serves a fresh set of clothes. Leaving his room, he finds himself among other people, all dressed identically and rushing toward the Psychological Resilience Center. In the elevator, a man named Starkweather 2 Delta enthusiastically announces that he won the lottery and is finally heading to the island, where he will enjoy the vast ocean and clean air. From a wall screen, a woman's voice announces that a new lottery drawing will take place today, giving another lucky person the chance to go to the island, the last untouched corner of nature on Earth. Lincoln heads down to one of the levels of the gigantic complex, where, according to the schedule, he is served a balanced breakfast with all sodium excluded. The cafeteria worker refuses to give him bacon, but Jordan 2 Delta takes the initiative and secures the desired treat for him before an approaching guard demands that they maintain their distance. Soon, Dr. Merrick calls Lincoln in and asks about the nature of his relationship with Jordan 2 Delta. He explains that while friendship is encouraged in their society, relationships that are too close can cause issues. The doctor then asks Lincoln to talk about the nightmares that haunt him and to visualize them. Lincoln explains that he dreams of sailing on a boat toward the island and suddenly falling into the water. However, beyond that, he is troubled by things that seem absurd to him. They are fed things they do not want, and their clothes are far too uniform. There is so much around him that he does not understand, and he wants something more than just waiting to sail to the island. Merrick reassures Lincoln that he should be happy, as he is one of the few survivors destined to reach the island. However, the boat Lincoln drew with the word Renovatio written on it makes the doctor wary, and he decides to run a series of tests. He injects microsensors into Lincoln's brain, which will gather data for 24 hours before leaving the body through urine. After the procedure, Lincoln heads to his workstation, where he helps provide nutrients to the system. Here, he watches another survivor who is currently undergoing the adaptation period. Jones claims to have figured out the lottery system and is confident that he will be today's winner. The only thing that does not align with his theory is the girls selected for the continuation of the species. Suddenly, one of them feels that labor is about to begin, which means only one thing: she will soon be on the island. Lincoln reports a computer breakdown to the technical department, and the technician, busy cleaning up broken glass, hands him a key to Sector 6. Putting on protective gear, Lincoln heads to the maintenance department and begins questioning McCord about life in this sector. After the technician leaves, Lincoln catches a moth and hides it in his room. When McCord reappears to fix the breakdown, he witnesses the extraction of a clone from an artificial placenta. An attending doctor notes a successful extraction, while the next clones are already waiting for their turn in an adjacent room. The nutrient supply for these products is provided by Lincoln and other residents of the complex. Lincoln tells Jordan that he found a bug, which proves that not all life is extinct, especially since they keep finding survivors like the one they saw today. Jones was wrong, and the lucky winner of the ticket to the island turns out to be Jordan. That night, Lincoln decides to release the moth in Sector 6 and follow it. He finds himself on an unfamiliar level, changes into staff clothing, and witnesses the labor of the very girl who was celebrating her upcoming departure to the island. But the most horrifying part is that after giving birth, the girl is murdered with a lethal injection. The baby is then handed over to a woman who is an exact copy of the mother. At the same time, an operation to harvest the liver of Starkweather 2 Delta is taking place nearby, during which he wakes up. The athlete's clone tries to escape, but the guards catch him and send him back to the operating table. Having witnessed these horrors, Lincoln leaves the level. While reviewing the recording of the incident with the athlete, the doctor uses the wristband data to realize that one of the products sneaked onto the floor. Lincoln realizes that the same fate awaits Jordan, and despite the ban, enters the women's section of the complex. He tries to convince her that she will also be killed, but she does not believe him. Meanwhile, the guards spot him in the female sector. Lincoln and Jordan run into Sector 6 and shake off their pursuers. Entering a ventilation shaft, the pair ends up in a room designed for implanting false memories into new products. The appearing guards force them to run again. They manage to escape their pursuers and step onto the surface of the Earth for the very first time in their lives. Inside the complex, an announcement states that Lincoln 6 Echo was contaminated, captured, and isolated, while Jordan 2 Delta successfully reached her new home. At a product presentation, Public Relations Director Whitman and Dr. Merrick tell potential farm clients that the agnates they create, which are genetically identical to the buyers, are not living people and always remain in a vegetative state, providing necessary organs for sick clients whenever needed. This allows wealthy individuals to live 60 to 70 years longer. Merrick meets with Albert Laurent, an employee of Blackhawk Security, a company reporting to the Department of Defense, and asks him to track down the fugitives. He reveals that Sarah Jordan, the sponsor of Jordan 2 Delta, was in a car accident and needs an urgent organ transplant. Lincoln Echo is the first agnate who began to question the things happening around him. They have very little knowledge about the environment, as all products are initially brainwashed with the idea of a global catastrophe that has devastated the Earth. Meanwhile, Jordan and Lincoln make their way to a nearby motel, where they ask for help in a bar to find McCord. The man has no choice but to hide them at his place and reveal the truth, explaining that they are clones of people living in the real world. In the event of an accident or illness, the clones supply their owners with organs. The sponsors do not even suspect that the spare parts carriers they own are real human beings who can feel. The corporation's operations are kept strictly secret, and if the public finds out what is happening, the entire organization will face total collapse and prison. McCord provides the pair with clothes, finds information about their sponsors, and gives them some cash for expenses. At the station, he buys them train tickets to Los Angeles. However, using the microsensors implanted in Lincoln's brain, the Blackhawk security agents track them down. After killing McCord, they chase the fugitives, who manage to shake off the special ops and jump onto the train. A few hours later, they arrive in Los Angeles, and on a billboard, Jordan spots the woman who paid to create her clone. The operatives arriving in the city connect to street cameras and spot the agnates, who used McCord's credit card while attempting to get information about their sponsors. The local police soon detain the fugitives and accuse them of McCord's murder. Merrick orders Laurent to do whatever it takes to prevent the agnates from reaching the police station, and their vehicle is rammed by a truck at an intersection. A shootout breaks out, but the clones manage to escape once again, hiding on a truck carrying train wheel sets. To get rid of their pursuers, Lincoln releases the cargo straps, and the heavy wheels cause total chaos on the road. The operatives on hoverbikes also fail to eliminate the pair, and after knocking them off their rides, the agnates speed away. Not understanding how the hoverbike works, Lincoln crashes it into an office building, breaking through the windows and landing them on a massive structural sign letter. The agents shoot at the mounts, causing the entire structure to break loose, but the heroes get lucky yet again. Scaffolding cushions their fall, and a safety net saves the agnates themselves. Meanwhile, 2 Echo informs Merrick that Lincoln found a moth, proving there is no contamination on the surface. Realizing the situation is spiraling out of control, the doctor eliminates the clone. While trapped in the police car, the agnates spotted the address of Tom Lincoln, the sponsor of 6 Echo, and they take a taxi to his house. The scanner reads Lincoln's retina, and the creator finally meets his double. Lincoln's brain scans reveal that in just 3 years of life, his mind developed to the level of a 30-year-old man, and all his skills are actually the memories of his sponsor, allowing him to adapt rapidly to changes. Tom introduces Lincoln to the details of his life, explaining that he designs high-end vehicles and earns a fortune doing it. However, his reckless lifestyle led to cirrhosis of the liver. The agnates beg him to help expose the truth about the corporation to the public, and Tom pretends to agree. But once he heads upstairs to his room, he immediately calls the corporation to report that his insurance product is currently sitting on his couch. Jordan doubts Tom's sincerity, so Lincoln asks her to stay behind. 6 Echo gets behind the wheel, and on the way to the studio, learns that he cost his owner $5 million. At a traffic light, the operatives block the car, and Tom threatens Lincoln with a gun. Refusing to die, 6 Echo hits the gas. The operatives manage to corner the car in a dead end, leaving Laurent completely confused, as the clone and the human look identical. In the chaos, the agnate manages to snap the corporate wristband onto his sponsor's wrist. Taking advantage of the operative's hesitation, Lincoln claims that he is the real Tom Lincoln. The wristband clears all doubts, and Laurent executes the human. Returning to the house, Lincoln and Jordan experience intimacy for the very first time in their lives. Back at the corporation, Merrick makes a definitive decision to terminate the entire Echo generation of agnates, as they possess the potential to rebel against the system. Lincoln takes the place of his sponsor, and Whitman informs him that a new scan is required to manufacture a replacement product, since the old batch must be disposed of due to a defect. Inside the complex, a massive lottery win is announced. and the agnates still in the artificial placentas are immediately destroyed. Lincoln and Jordan decide to disappear forever, but first, they must free all the clones. Jordan intentionally makes a purchase with McCord's card, instantly drawing the operatives, while Lincoln arrives at the corporation for his scanning procedure. Laurent hands the girl over to the corporate guards for the organ harvesting process, but using a weapon she found at Tom's house, Jordan subdues the surgeon and the guard. Lincoln does the exact same thing to Whitman. 6 Echo intends to shut down the external hologram system so the agnates can see the truth. From a conversation with Merrick, Laurent learns that Jordan's sponsor will not survive even with an organ transplant, as her brain has suffered irreversible damage. The mercenary realizes that the girl will be killed for absolutely no reason, and that to Merrick, this is just a business where the lives of agnates mean nothing. While Lincoln makes his way to the hologram control center, Merrick is informed that they actually brought in the body of the client, not the agnate. A complex white alarm is triggered immediately, and Laurent finds Jordan to help her save the clones, who are about to be incinerated under the guise of relocating to the island. Lincoln manages to disable the hologram's cooling system and engages in a fight with Merrick, who caught up to him. However, the doctor fails to stop his own creation, and the hologram system collapses, revealing the true state of affairs to the clones. Merrick dies, and hundreds of clones step onto the surface of the Earth for the very first time in their short lives, while Laurent watches the scene, completely convinced that he made the right choice. By exposing the horrific truth, the clones turn a corporate death trap into a symbol of freedom. Lincoln and Jordan destroy a multi-million-dollar lie, proving that even a copy has a living soul. Stepping out into the real world, hundreds of survivors finally conquer the system and win the right to live their own lives.